Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
So now, we have Russian fighter jets downing one of our drones by dumping fuel on it. Really? That's more insulting than shooting it down. And we just take that stuff now. Remember when Hacksaw Jim Duggan took a 2x4 to the Iron Sheik? Remember when the Wolverines took out the Ruskies in Red Dawn? America, we need more Jim Duggans and Patrick Swayzes and less of these pencil-neck desk jockeys defending our honor. Well, Jim Duggan was busy, and Patrick Swayze is now bouncing punks at that roadhouse in the sky. But at least we still have these two heroes. This is Dave and Juan. Ball!
And 3.
Number 2.
That would usually be followed by 1.
Ba-ba!
There you
Which
go.
is followed by the chimes or whatever you want to call that.
There you
stuff.
go. As I break off my ink pen as I said, look, thank goodness this isn't my lucky pen.
Yeah, see, I keep 2.
Just some random pen in front of me right here. America, listen, for all the reasons besides the fact that I think if you took Juan and myself, how long we have been awake this morning. Total's about an hour if we combine it.
Yeah.
All right. So America.
Yeah,
You're
welcome.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's right. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you kindly. Although I guess it depends on how you factor in awake, because I was awake a lot during the night, and not just to pee this time. That was so we were away this past week for a good part of the week, and our cat, we left our cat inside. Our cat's, our cat hasn't made. She doesn't know that because she's a special cat. She really is. She's the least affectionate cat in the world. She's the least affectionate house cat there is. She's like living, if you ever lived in a dorm and you lived around people you really couldn't stand, but you sort of had to get along with, because you're going to bump into them in the bathroom. And even, I one time I had a roommate. He wasn't a bad guy. Thankfully, he wasn't dirty and he wasn't a thief or anything, but he was just not, we just didn't quite get along.
We weren't your choice of who you would let into your social circle.
We weren't hanging out. Like when I got back to the room, if he wasn't there, I got to be honest, I was a little happier. Right? There's some people, man, you fired up to see, and there's some people you just like, And again, but he probably had the same reaction to me. I'm sure of it. Well, anyway, I think that's our cat here. I don't know if she understands that we provide the food and the water, right? But besides that, our job is just to open the door, let her in and out, and she does what she wants.
She, like you with your old roommate, she was probably happy that y'all were gone.
Well, no, she wasn't, because by the time because she couldn't go outside, so she was inside, and we go through that. And I guess there are some people that do this because they have to. Like, would you board a cat? I can't see boarding a cat. So like, what are they? What I'm saying? You're gonna stick it in a kennel, and like you're gonna bring it to a vet. You're gonna get charged for the thing to be miserable. So, so wife's, I feel terrible leaving her. I'm like, okay, you're leaving her in a pretty big house with the run of the place, and it's going to get cold. So we just justify it, but that we were gone for days. So she broke her habits, and she doesn't know what to do with herself the day we get back. Like, she went out and in yesterday, no less than, I don't know, 15, 20 times.
She's in the outside.
Well, she'd go outside, she's kind of whatever, and then she'd jump on the table. There's a table outside our back window that when she jumps on and looks in the window, that's sort of her sign for, hey, can I come back in? And at first, we even left the door open for a little while, like just.
But you let it out, or you have a cat door?
No, we let it out. I can't have a cat door, man. We got raccoons. We got, and again, I don't live in the city, right? I mean, I don't live in the country, or I don't live in the city. I live in the burbs, but we got enough stuff going on that. So that was the routine yesterday. We got home yesterday afternoon, and she was I think I realized after about the 5th time that she was retraining me.
Yeah.
Okay.
She probably thought about, hey, sucker, you had it easy for a couple of days.
I think she wanted to see if it still worked. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right? Because the meows didn't work for like 3 or 4 days. She's like, hang on a second. I come to the door. I'm like, wow, 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 and nobody does anything. And all of a sudden, us fools are back. So she would jump on the table and meow, and I'd get up and I'd literally walk over to an open door because it was a pretty day. I'd walk up to an open door and say, cat, doors open. And she'd come running in. And I go sit back down doing what I'm doing because I drove from Louisiana. I was kind of tired. So I'm, settling in, kind of dozing off in the chair. Next thing I know, she's on the table again. Come in.
So if you leave the door open, she won't go in and out on her own?
She probably would, but she wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was sort of like, I'm telling you, she was training me. She wanted to see. And that's why I'm a little bit, I was awake because around like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, I started getting she comes in our bed. She comes in our bedroom and starts with that. And and I know those of you that are out there that don't have pets, and I got to be careful because I'm the one that, and I'm not a cat person. We've talked about this before. I don't even like cats. And this one I kind of like now, maybe tolerate it. But I'm the one that made the decision saying, let's make her inside cat because it's really, there's stuff out there. So I feel a little, now my wife's better at getting up and letting her out and stuff, but I felt guilty. So I did it, and same thing. And then she got into a fight outside. I don't think she got into a fight. I think she ducked one. She's not exactly. She's not a hood cat.
She's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, that's right. They got hood cats outside. And it's funny, me, I am Dr. Doolittle. I talk to the animals, right? So I'm out there. I'm out there this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning in my socks, standing on my back patio, making hissing cat noises to run off because I got to come out and I got to establish myself again as the alpha.
You're the main cat in the neighborhood.
To run off the other punk cats that come around and that's when you realize I made some bad decisions in life. That I'm not supposed to be standing outside in the cold in my socks, chasing cats away. And but there you go. I think she's happy we're back, Juan. That's what's important.
Well,
I think,
good.
And there's actually stuff in the litter box, so that's it.
Yeah. As opposed to elsewhere.
There you go. So so all good, but that's not the wildlife on my back porch. Wasn't the craziest wildlife yesterday. So driving from between Houma and Thibodeau. You ever drive? You drive and we see this quite a bit. These birds, and I don't know what they are. There's some kind of black birds. I don't know if they're swallows or whatever. And you always see them buzzing like in the air, bigger birds. They run off. You see them chasing off a crow. You see them even chasing off a hawk.
Yeah, it's a mockingbird. It's not a mockingbird.
It could have been. It's hard to tell. I didn't know, but it's possible, right? But I always admire the gumption of whatever that freaking bird is that's just dive bombing these birds that are, 10 times bigger, right? So driving
the gumption of the little one or the lack of courage of the big one.
You kind of figure, right? It's like, what's going on there? Because you were going to try to eat whatever. Like you could just eat this thing if you turned on it. But so yesterday we're driving on our way out, and I see one of these little buzz things going on. I'm thinking, well, that's a big. It's not a crow. That's a big hawk. I'm trying to figure out a bald eagle.
Oh wow,
a dang bald eagle, and I had mixed emotions. Okay, because one is like, well, that's kind of cool that bald eagles apparently are so common now.
Yeah. Apparently this other bird doesn't know of the protection order against it.
I don't look. We grew up, man. They taught us these things were like unicorns.
Yeah,
like you never saw a bald eagle. I'm a grown man, and I guarantee you, I probably was in my 30s or 40s before I saw one in a zoo. You know?
I haven't seen many in the wild. Because I don't go in the wild.
That would be. Hang on a sec. I think we have a
cause and effect.
Cause and effect. There you go. There you go. It's still early on a Sunday morning. Hang on. Cause and effect. There you
go. But about a year or so ago, there was one along the Mississippi River, like south of Baton Rouge, and everybody would go because it was nested there.
Yeah.
So it was two of them. So we went ride and we saw that one. Years ago, there was one in an old cypress tree, right as you're getting into New Orleans. So you could see that one sometimes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know that I've just seen them flying. Now on Lake Verret, dude, I got a friend who takes photos, who just a phenomenal photographer, and she'll go out sometimes. And yeah, you'll see 6, 7 eagles just sitting in a tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, they're our national bird. So I don't think that they're ever going to come off because, Cajuns be like,
Yeah, you could eat
wonder,
that.
wonder what that tastes like. Oh, bet that'd be good. But I think I may have told the feedback because honestly, when you were saying that, I want to say before we left Louisiana, well, so I was almost 30. I want to say they had some nesting, but I don't know. I don't know that I ever saw them. It was, and I forget the road it was on down in South Louisiana. That's when it became the big buzz. Like, there's a bald eagle, or whatever, and then apparently one of them. I think I remember one of them got hit by a car, or like one of the. Well, I mean, think about it, dude. Until things have to learn, right? And they look, and if there's a dead animal on the road, guess
Easy
what?
game.
I know we like to think that the majestic bald eagle, the representative of our great country, would be above eating roadkill on the side of the road, but apparently not, man. When they're hungry, they just like a buzzard, they just like, move over. And that's what happened. But so saw that, and I was like, wow, okay, fantastic. And the other part of it was, man, you are the representative of this country. Don't you be letting some little bird chase you off like that. It reminded me of the American drone this past week.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's a
fuel dumped on it by those Russian pilots. You saw the footage of that? That looked like it looked like they did that in animation. You know what I'm saying? It looked like that was just too perfect. And no, hey, look, guys, listen, I'm not, hey, all right, Team America, bleep, yeah. Okay, I got a flag behind me. Okay, I'm like, let's put the Lee Greenwood in the background right now. I'm proud to be an American. Okay, establish all that. You gotta admit, that was a pretty chill move.
Yeah.
Those Russian pilots pulled
when
on.
you take that, then you take out the prop, and
that was, and those you haven't seen it. And the other thing too is this drone, which, gee whiz, what's it doing there? I don't know. I mean, could have been an accident. I think they may have just been,
wasn't it? I thought it was over international waters.
Oh, I don't know. What's international waters? You know what I'm saying? What's international waters? It's whatever they tell us it is. And when I say they, these days, it's the other guys. That's right. They seem to do what they want, right? But if you haven't seen this, it's you just see this footage. I'm amazed that they released that footage. And the only reason I can figure it is because they didn't do it because they want to. And I don't know what angle.
It could be the Russians were, or we're trying to prove something. It says, "Oh, it wasn't our fault."
But my thing is, it didn't make me think any less of those guys. I thought that's a pretty slick move. They didn't have to shoot it down or nothing. They basically took a dump on it. They just kind of
right.
Like
a goose.
You just see that fighter jet bank and come this way. Next thing you know, it looked like it was like a crop duster, just dumping fuel on that. Of course,
nice
we say like
$400,000 drone.
Oh no, bro. Oh, times 10, dude. Those things cost at least. Those things cost millions. Understand too. For some reason, we don't really negotiate prices with these companies when we buy stuff. Like all these missiles and stuff. We dropped. They so many missiles. Man, these individual missiles are hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece, right? Forget what these planes cost. When a plane goes down, I mean, we literally have some stuff. Now, granted, it's pretty big. Man, they got close to like $1 billion price tag on some of these things. Like
some of the stuff we left over.
We left a lot. We left like 80 something billion. Yeah, I know. Well, I guess that's I was trying to say, how did we get to this conversation? We're talking about America, bald eagles. There you go. And that's where you go. So, yeah, we'll see where that happens. Every week we just, leave you saying, well, hopefully we won't be in another, hopefully World War III isn't by. Well, we'd have to do a break in and do a special edition
Could be
You
a
know,
last edition.
do a special World War III edition of
Yeah.
the Dave and Juan
Whatever that news buzzer is.
more time podcast. Although we probably couldn't do it because what's going to happen if it happens and if
Yeah,
it starts to
take
happen
over the internet.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, that's the other thing too is we've said this before. Ignorance is bliss, and there's an incredible amount of blissful people out there, and I envy a lot of people. I envy. You know, it's sometimes paying attention and actually knowing what's going on. Not a good place to be. You know, if you think about that, like if they told you had, and we don't know, but if they told you have one more year to live, or maybe one more month to live. You know how much stuff you wouldn't worry about?
That's right, man. I'd go skydiving. I'd go Rocky Mountain climbing.
I did 2 points.
2 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu.
All right. Tim McGraw. Shout out Tim McGraw. Yeah, man. Oh, that was that song, Live Like You Would. That's a good song.
Yeah.
By the way.
That's
a great song. I was hey man, I hate to be so schizophrenic's not the word again. We're still up early and there's not enough coffee in us, but scattered with this. But talking about Tim McGraw and country. So again, I did about 11, 12 hours worth of driving in the past 4 or 5 days. And I sort of call it when I'm driving these days, I'm gonna put the station on, and I know my wife doesn't like it. I had my mother-in-law with us this time, and I think she likes country. My son's the one that came with us. He had headsets. He's not listening, but so I'm listening to all this old country and I think about country music, man. It is either like goosebump instilling great lyrics, great like that song, Live Like You're Dying, and these songs. Country music is either that or trash, or just awful. And a lot of the new stuff is just awful. It's just like, man, people singing about stuff they never did. They're out drinking whatever in their truck and and I'm good. Oh, it's like, man, it's, and I guess what drives my wife crazy, because she'll look at me sometimes and I'll say, no, I don't like that song. As a matter of fact, I'm on your team on this one. That song sucks, but I'm not going to change the station every time a song comes on that I don't like.
Dude, I came across, because you can see me looking down at my phone, this guy, country guy, and I just saw him like promoting a song in, I guess Instagram feeds or whatever. Warren Zeiders, I think it's his name, Zeiders, has a new song called Pretty Little Poison. And it sounds like old style country to me. I really like it. So I was listening to his stuff the other day before I segued into some Glen Campbell.
Man, look.
So I'm sitting in my office Friday, let's play the best of Glen Campbell. And
that's a lot of best right there. That's a lot of best right there. I saw a clip, and I wish I could have figured out a way. You think, I'm not that smart on. I almost shared it. I have trouble figuring out how to save something, so a lot of times I'll just email it to myself if I can remember right. And it was a clip from, it must have been in the 70s or 80s, and it was Waylon Jennings, young Waylon Jennings, like probably in his, that was the outlaw days, right? When they were running around, when him and Johnny and Will, like the songs they talked about, when Hank Williams Jr. Sang "All My Rowdy Friends Have Settled Down," well, way before that song came out. And it's Waylon Jennings, and good-looking guy, man, big beard, and I think it was Jessie Coulter eventually. I think she was the person who eventually became his wife. Much younger, you can tell at the time. Let's put it this way: she looked legal, but and she was on national TV.
Maybe she was legal because her parents signed over some papers.
I don't know. That could have been too. But she's just sitting there talking to him, and he's playing these songs, whatever. And you just realize, man, those guys, and not just those guys, rockers back in the day and stuff. That was just we just remember people when they were older. The Elvis estate figured that out. Like, once Elvis passed away, they just scrubbed everything.
Yeah. Everything became Aloha from Hawaii, Elvis.
That's it. And before, right? That was, and that made sense because that's how you want to remember it. But which again, that's the thing about all this. What they call it, the 27 Club. All the rockers that died at 27 around. You got Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain. So we never get to see those people get old. right? So they're always going to be. Now, by the way, guys, boys and girls out there, that's not a good plan. Okay, that's like
Yeah.
you know, unless you've
I
already,
want y'all to see me get old, so
yeah, unless you've already reached, worldwide fame and fortune and stuff. But even then, I don't think it's a good plan.
no.
But yeah, Glen Campbell, man, I tell you what. Now you were doing this at work, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm gonna guess you didn't have a beer in your hand. See, that would be the time. That'd be
No.
a Friday afternoon with some Glen and a beer in your hand.
It was funny though because there was one song that I had forgotten. I can't even remember the name of it now. That I can remember as a kid. I don't know if my parents had it or I bought it, but the 45, the little single record
Oh
for that
man,
song, just playing it over and over again.
wasn't Rhinestone Cowboy?
No, it was some mellow one. It was older than that.
Oh,
So,
you got Galveston. You got he was big on city songs. He had Galveston. He had as soon as I say he was big on city songs, I can't remember the other ones.
Here, you keep.
Galveston, oh Galveston.
Yeah, but that was on that.
You had
Let's see.
Rhinestone that was massive. Rhinestone Cowboy. I would debate this with anyone, even if I'm wrong, because I don't mind debating when I'm wrong.
That was by the time I get to Phoenix. See, I'm looking at some of the
Okay,
stuff.
there are some city songs, right? So,
The song I was talking about was "It's Only Make Believe."
oh, that was a Conway Twitty song.
Well, he sang it though.
Well, who wrote it? Pull that up.
I don't know.
You got the Google machine in front of you. I mean, don't make me talk to SIRI over here because she's going to shut off my mic yeah, don't get me started on Conway. I don't want because my
Conway
mother,
and Loretta Lynn.
that was the first singers of it.
Let's see who wrote it. Let's see.
Who wrote the dang thing? I don't think Conway wrote it. I don't think Conway did much of anything.
Nope, it was written by drummer Jack Nance and Mississippi-born singer Conway Twitty.
Oh, Conway wrote that song?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, my bad. See, now I can't dump on Conway like I wanted to because I was listening to that old classic thing. Conway had some bad songs, man. And when I say bad, I'm not saying bad like someone's like, man, that's bad. No, I'm not saying it in a positive way. Now, what I will give him credit, okay, well, we'll give Conway credit, is that he would remind me of back in the 70s, that guy, and I wasn't old enough to be in the bars back then, but Conway Twitty would have been the guy that walked in with the blue jeans and the blue jean jacket and the hair that he worked on a little bit too long and probably getting the ladies and you wouldn't realize how. Like really? Like who's going for that? But that was Conway was good with a hook. He was good with, he like little parts of a song because it drove my wife
all
crazy.
It takes, man. You
Listen,
could sing, something you could sing in 3 or 4. Yeah, you listen to it for 1 or 2 times. You got that hook down.
He had that song, "That's My Job."
Mm-hmm.
That song, "That's My Job." You know what? That is a good. And I said, "Daddy." It's like, it's weird, man. It's not like an earworm. That part's, but if you actually listen to the lyrics, oh, it's bad. It's like, God, man, you using words in there that you would never, like proper English words that Conway never said those things. And again, I don't want to, the fact he wrote apparently Make Believe.
Only Make Believe.
They did that a lot back then. The kind you don't realize, like country songs, they would cover each other's stuff like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like a race to see, well, that's a good song. Let me see if I can make it a hit. Right? Bet you I can do it better than you can.
But I guess I don't know. Do they pay? I wonder if they paid each other well to do it, or
I doubt it. I think now it's a little different. But I used to say this, and look, we're old guys, so I went radio in the 80s. Okay, and I used to tell people everything you heard about music. Whenever you hear musicians complaining about the music companies, it's true. It's true. Music companies were awful. They're thieves. And I can't imagine the managers were much better, right? And you can see that, and I can see that with artists. Okay, comedians talk about this a bit, but you can see this with artists. Man, they're artists. They're about singing and performing,
right.
And they're
not accountants.
Dude, I am an accountant and I don't want to do it. I mean, I've got an accounting degree. Let me say that. All right. So technically, you know what I'm saying? I got an accountant. Yeah, believe it or not, America. Yes, right here. You're listening to an accountant.
Just send your tax advice to, or your questions about
I don't
tax.
even do my own taxes. I don't even do my own taxes, man. Well, now I don't. I mean, I used to TurboTax. I did TurboTax forever. Simple. Boom, 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 boom. You're done. Is it right? I don't know. It's done. I never. It looked like you could have whatever. It's done. Now it's like, oh geez, and it's all a crapshoot. You send the stuff in. You hope I hope this is right, and some other person gets back to you. This is what you owe, really, and you don't even know if you have to question it.
But back to the artists and stuff. So did you see this week, talking about all that and the financial side of it, albums for the first time in forever have outsold CDs,
which is
and it's
interesting because
still not
I didn't know
massive amount.
I didn't think people still bought CDs.
Yeah, I didn't either. But it's not just vintage albums. I think a lot more people are putting stuff out on vinyl.
Yeah.
And I wonder though if it's to control more of it, because I have some friends who have music here and there and on Spotify and stuff. And on Spotify, you've got to get like 100 or a couple hundred downloads to get pennies.
You don't get do you get paid for plays or just downloads?
For plays, but I mean, so you've got to get you got to get a ton of plays to get minuscule money.
Yeah, well, that's why somebody, and again, I've dumped on Garth before for good reason, but that's where he had the sense for the longest time. And I want to say his stuff is available now somewhere, but he just said, no, I ain't putting it on. The Kid Rock was the big one. Kid Rock may have been the beginning of that. When it first started with, you got to be on iTunes, and Kid Rock was like, shove it. I ain't putting none of my stuff on iTunes. You guys can, and my wife tells me the other day, and I didn't realize this, I haven't used iTunes in, man, I swear to you, it's got to be 15 years. Okay. I mean, or maybe 10. But apparently I used to buy it. I bet you I spent a few $100s on iTunes back when that was it.
The only time I open up iTunes is by accident, because if I click on an audio file on my Mac, I'm not sure how to go turn that off as a default player. Well,
so apparently I've got, my wife was telling me, whatever music you bought on iTunes, you own it. It's there somewhere. It's like, right. Doesn't seem like, all right, I can also click on Spotify, which I'm paying for anyway. So, different world, but and I realize that I'm one of the few people that, well, again, maybe it's an age thing. I will put the radio on when I'm driving, where a lot of youngins, you don't even need.
I still like radio, and it's rare. Like I said, if I'm listening to Spotify or something, it's probably sitting in my office. Or if I'm in a place where it's just like I just hate everything on the radio, I'll throw a playlist on. But I don't have a ton of playlists.
I don't much. It's funny. I guess it's all one of those things. We came up because there was a time we would put an album on and you'd listen to music. That's what you did. Like, what are you doing right now? I'm going to listen to this album again. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at the sticks, pieces of album cover.
Right. But read the liner notes, read the lyrics
again. And that was entertainment. And it was actually entertaining, by the way. I mean, you kind of visualized you were in the band or you were on the stage.
There was nothing better than going home with a new album, tearing that little plastic on there, sliding that baby out, putting it on, like you said, playing that first song while you checked out the artwork on the album, read the lyrics as it played.
I think, like I said, that's just over. We have too many choices now, where it used to be. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, y'all. Yeah, I guess more choices is better than we're sounding like a bunch of communists, right? You will get. If all you got is beans, you're gonna love them beans, man. Ooh, can't wait to sit down to another pile of beans this morning, and grateful to have them. And you should be, but too many options. But that's what we did. You'd listen to it. That's not the case anymore, right? You just because if I'm not maybe in the gym, I'll put on music in my AirPods. But even then, I'm more likely listening to a podcast. I'm more likely listening to some kind of news. But
man, you're talking music and no choices. How about Ticketmaster? So you go to a lot of concerts. I don't go to a lot.
Well,
Well, you go to far more than me.
Okay, all
So in the past couple of weeks, I bought tickets to a couple of concerts. Friday popped up. I had through Spotify, I had access to pre-sale tickets for Counting Crows at the Sanger in New
Okay.
Orleans.
Okay.
Checked it out. All right, pair of tickets, $70 a pop. Checked out, $210.
That's a little more than 70 a pop.
Yeah, it's like about a 50% charge on every ticket.
Jeez. Oh, now is that so I'm curious if that is, I know Ticketmaster there again, Ticketmaster or Thicket. How about Ticket Day? There's no TH in there. Right? You know, it's kind of funny that Occasion adds a TH.
It could be Stick It Master, stick it to you.
Let me show you how, and let's go back to that because I don't want to, but that's a point I want to make on this about how absolutely insanely incompetent our legislators are, right? You know, understand 15%, 20% of the people that are in Congress, in the Senate Congress, are smart, decent people. Maybe another 10 or 15%. They're not smart, but they're decent. The rest are crooks and scoundrels and awful. You talk about a subject that everybody everywhere can agree on. Ticketmaster is a monopoly. It is awful. It does nothing. You know, okay, yeah, let's think about it.
Look, you got to make a profit.
Their software is fine. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. But everybody from the artist to the venues to the customers, man, hate it. And they'll point out, like, look, they have created a monopoly and they're gouging. And you get the, Republicans and Democrats, and they're asking these questions. And I even think Foghorn Leghorn, our senator or your senator, what's his face? Kennedy. Yeah, Foghorn, you know. Well, let me make my point, but I'm going to tell a story about my Grammy and my whatever. Yeah, okay. And nothing's going to happen. They had hearings like nothing.
Yeah, they got the thing with Ticketmaster. Now, I think if you want to resell a Ticketmaster ticket, you resell it through Ticketmaster, and somebody will pay those fees again.
Is that insane? Yes, it's a certified resale. It's like, wait a minute. So you create. Now I'll give credit. Now I can't get to it now. So like those of you might not follow. So Joe Rogan is in Austin now, and he opened up his own. It's been a while, but he opened up his own comedy place in Austin. It's called the Comedy Mothership, and they spent a bunch of money on it and design. Like he's got and now like Austin has become the comedy. Like Rogan lives there, Tom Segura lives there. I think even Theo Von's moving there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of comedians, and Ron White is a regular. I mean, it's kind of cool that you could probably just pop into a comedy club and Ron White's going to show up for 10 minutes and practice some stuff. Roseanne Barr was there. It's amazing. Dave Chappelle was there the other day. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he introduced Dave Chappelle, surprise guest. So anyway, so he can do this. He's made
all at Rogan's club.
Yes, but he's supporting other clubs around there. But basically, he's created sort of an epicenter where comedians are they're either moving and living in Austin, or they're just all coming through there, and it's fabulous. It's great for the city of Austin. But what he's done, if you go to the website, whatever system they use, they hate Ticketmaster. They hate these guys. So if you want to buy a ticket to one of whatever the shows, and everybody, they're going to be, they sell out within minutes because everybody knows it's going to be some amazing stuff. When you show up, you have to have somebody in your party has to have their name on the tickets. In other words, like you cannot resell. You cannot resell a ticket. And within 30 minutes of show starting, if those tickets are not claimed, they get resold. So there are people that are probably standing around or just waiting. But it's sort of one, and you give a shout out like that's the only way to get back at it. It's like
right, because bots buy half of the tickets.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Now I know we've gone from birds buzzing American Eagles to Conway Twitty songs to, but that's just where we are on a Sunday morning. But
Robert Smith from The Cure is raising three kind of stink now. Who looks like a grandma with bad hair.
What's The Cure's big songs again, Robert?
Dude, all kind of Boys Don't Cry. Just Like Heaven.
Is that the one? Tell me how you do that trick.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Pictures of You.
Well,
Kiss
He
Me,
just-
Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
Oh,
That was the
man,
album.
look.
Anyway, they released tickets this week or started a tour, and tickets were he's trying to make it affordable for everybody, $20. But then when it gets through, it's like, there ain't nobody buying tickets for $20.
No, it's ridiculous.
I think
It's
they're
ridiculous.
making Ticketmaster refund some money to people now.
So I'm glad. Now that the Cure is on the scene fighting, I think maybe we can get this cleared up.
That's right. That's right. Robert Smith is going to take care of that because people
Back
won't
in
be
the
able
day,
to tell.
you know.
People won't know if he's a grandma or some singer.
There you
So,
go. Well,
but talking about musicians with hair,
as we were.
I read yesterday that Kenny G is going to court. I guess his ex-wife. He's trying to lower her spousal payment. He
So-
pays $40,000 a month to his ex-wife.
Man, there was some music. There was some money playing a saxophone, wasn't there?
Dude, a saxophone that looked like a clarinet.
Thank you, because it always because people say
Yeah.
that. Say, was he play clarinet? And no, it's
Nah, but it's I don't know. You got musician children. It's a whatever tenor of sax it is.
Ah, man, I got no clue. But those of you that some youngins
Bro,
out
I've
there,
seen Kenny G in concert.
have you really?
Kenny G and Michael Bolton.
When you were saying that, I was thinking that was his running buddies, man. Him and Michael have, but at least Michael later in life, and I think Kenny probably has as well. I know they got a sense of humor about themselves.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good for people to. It's almost like the folks doing yacht rock now, or talking about. It's like, yeah, man, go with it. But so I didn't know Kenny was married. I didn't know he was divorced. And $40,000 a month. It's a different lifestyle, man. But that ain't like and I can't remember the exact number, but it's an insane number. Kelly Clarkson. Right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, she was paying and she's paying. Now, man, that's a different subject we will not get into about how that breaks down. About how, how the other guy or the other woman gets to be paid just because, man, she was hundreds of thousands a month, if not like a million. It was crazy the amount of money she was paying or is paying in alimony. So all right, I think I prefer to talk about bald eagles being buzzed by it's positive.
I want to talk about something not bald other than myself.
Okay.
So there was, and I don't know, maybe it's been out for a while. It's an Amazon, I think it's Amazon Prime commercial. That it starts off kind of curious. I saw it for the first time the other day. Then I've seen it 2 or 3 times since.
Yeah.
It zooms in on which is like a peach fuzz, freshly growing in mustache, and then it's a girl.
Okay.
So
Happens. Yeah.
Right. So I got no problem with that. Yeah. I had a girl in my elementary class who had a mustache more than, better than any boy in the class. And
it happens, man. That's fine.
Why does everybody have to see somebody who looks like them? Dude, I was born with a clubfoot. I don't know anybody other than my son who was born with a clubfoot.
I didn't know that.
That's right. You see, I didn't advertise it. I had 2. I still buy stuff.
What's exactly a
Amazon
club?
Prime.
What's exactly a club? What is that? I've heard.
That's when
we've all heard
the joint, when the and you got to be able to see this, but so your ankle's supposed to be like this, but it's over. So then your foot will hang, like the outside of your foot hangs on. So you would walk on the outside of your foot.
I think I got that right now.
Yeah, you might. So
I don't know, man. I got to either, I don't know if I'm pronated or in there, but I did not know that. So what do they do back in the day? So this was, I mean, they were still riding horses when you were a child. So what was the, what was the medical procedure for a club foot when you were a child?
The first they put you in cast. So I learned to walk with cast on.
That explains a lot.
Exactly.
That explains a lot. Okay.
Because they try to hold it in place and think that that's going to work. Like they jam it in position.
Okay.
And then I had surgery when I was like 3 years old, I think, to put it back in place. Then I had corrective shoes, bro.
Corrective shoes. Did you get those at the
shoes.
Red Goose? Red Goose and
no, I used
Red
to get
Goose
them
shoe store. Yeah.
I got them at TikTok in Baton Rouge.
TikTok at Baton Rouge. Okay.
Swear to you. And then I used to sleep with a bar between my. I had to sleep with shoes on, so I had a bar between them.
I've been doing a podcast with Forrest freaking Gump for about
then
going on 2
I'm
years.
gonna
know.
take
Please
you a
tell
pi-
me,
I'm gonna
please
take
tell
a
me that
picture
one
of this.
time you were being chased by a bunch of mean guys on the bicycles, and then as you were running, your cast flew off, and you
Not the cast, but those things that Forrest Gump wore, I had them.
Get out of here.
I called them cables, and
Okay.
so bit by bit, since my mom passed years ago, my dad cleans out the closet. I freaking have them in my closet downstairs. I'm gonna send you a picture of them.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go, Forrest.
So see, there ain't no commercial on Amazon about nobody running in cables.
And there probably will be after this podcast, man. They're gonna have,
This is the whole thing. So those things were expensive, I guess. So I'd sleep in those suckers. So eventually, they had shoes connected to them. So when I outgrew them, instead of getting new ones, my parents just cut the toes off the shoes so my feet could hang off the edge.
But this was only for sleeping in, right?
I think I only slept in them.
They didn't send you to school with your toes sticking out of shoes. I mean, maybe they did. This was Pankerville circa 1835. So I don't know what, or I don't know what, but man, I did not know that. That's
and the beauty of it. In high school, I had a homeroom teacher who made you fill out every freaking paperwork that came across your desk piece of paper, and so I completed this stuff my senior year, and I got a vocational rehabilitation grant to pay for my tuition at Nichols.
Get out of here.
While, mind you, I owned and operated a karate school. There you go.
That's America for you. That's America, man.
Granted, tuition was $280 a semester.
It was, again, we were riding horses back in the day. I mean, there was a stagecoach picked us up in Bayou Lafourche, and, we'd have to stop in Raceland and feed the horses on the way, but it was all good. That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm going to get what was it called? What rehabilitation?
Oh, vocational rehabilitation grant.
But something that you had when you were
a baby.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the system? Your parents probably could have used the help back then. They were probably having to pay that stuff out of pocket, or darn,
know.
They didn't talk to you about that, did they?
No.
That's and all this came out of an Amazon commercial.
An Amazon commercial with a girl with a mustache.
And because where they went with that commercial was they had her thinking, oh, it looks like Freddie Mercury. Is that the one?
Yeah. So she bought a Freddie Mercury
and then
jacket.
she starts ordering Freddie Mercury stuff. So they're trying to say, hey, any young girl out there that may have a little more facial hair than others, you really should just go become a man. That's really what they're telling you. I mean, I'm sorry. Am I wrong? I mean,
don't know.
I know. Well, because we can't even talk about these kind of things. Look, man, you mature at different ages. You don't know when the hormones hit, whatever. I mean, like with guys, it was always like which guys got hair on them first, right?
Yeah. Bubba had like a full man beard in the 6th grade at St. Elizabeth.
No, we had I think it was Andy Emard at my school, man. Andy, like by 9th grade, no doubt he was shaving every day, every other day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully he's still around. I don't know if he is or not, but my dad even said that one time. 8th and 9th grade, this was back when students, again, and I'm not casting aspersions on all education, although you can get on TV and get on the internet and see that there are a lot of people that shouldn't, they literally should not be allowed within 100 yards of a school, who are apparently in classrooms. They ain't teaching, they're indoctrinating, whatever. But back in the day where I guess a school principal or assistant principal could ask a 9th grade, something, a personal question, right? I remember my dad asked him one time, "Oh, boo, do you want to shave every day?" Yeah. I remember he came home, he says, "That boy got to shave every day." I'm like, well, And yet here I am 50 years. No, not 50, but
Yeah,
a good bit later. I still remember that. Yeah. Dude shaves every
dude,
day,
this
man.
is quite a few years ago. Well, not that bad, I guess. One of my sons said, "How old were you before you could grow like a full beard?" And I said, "Well, I'll let you know
That's right.
whenever I get there."
Yeah. I
So
don't,
Bubba in 6th grade had it then.
yeah, we all got that. Somebody used to tell me, so I don't, oh, I'm not sure right now. I mean, I'm partially, that's been the one positive thing about, well, not one, but one of the positive things is the last, doing a lot of things remote and stuff. I think back now, how in the world did I shave every day?
Mm.
Like that was my routine. I shave even when I didn't have to. Like back in the days in radio, right? Nobody saw us. Nobody saw anything. And I'd wait and I'd shave a lot of times in the morning, bro. What
Cool.
what moron is shaving at 4:30 in the morning
Yeah.
to go sit in a room and talk on a mic with nobody's
Nobody's
gonna.
seeing you.
But there you go. The things we did back then, just like the time I had a job at the office job up in North Georgia where we all wore suits and ties every day for
Dude, that was
nothing.
a beat down.
For ourselves. We wore those for ourselves. But all right. Old men complaining about things. This is total. Like if we could put in the sound effect of the rewind or the crack, total jump, right? Because we kind of before we started recording, we're talking about. So I was in Thibodeau last week, and I ended up doing, and even I guess to call this a repair is not fair to people that actually fix stuff. But I had to do a sink repair, a sink drain repair, and so I'm driving from Homewood to Thibodeau, and one of my sisters was there. And I don't know what happened. She was dropping off food for my mom or doing something. I don't even know why I'm on the phone or why. Oh, I guess I called. I called to say, hey, we're on the way. Can I get anything? Blah, blah, blah. So she was there. And then I hear, oh, I'm just hearing background. Like I'm talking to my mom, but I can hear my sister in the background. Oh, well, this isn't good. Oh, geez. Right. And you start doing that. What? Just there's a leak under the sink. Oh, I mean, you ever want to tell people like, man, listen, if like your noises aren't helping, like so I'm just thinking, oh my, what's going on? She goes, oh, let me see if I can turn the water off. And I'm like, oh my God, they got a broken pipe, they got whatever. And then it was like, oh yeah, I don't know, there's water everywhere. I turned it off and I think it stopped, but and I'm just like, okay, just
Get a
right.
bucket.
It's my thing. And here's the deal. So like literally under the sink, like it's a big area and there's a big stainless steel. We probably, I think, made popcorn in this thing back in the day, but I mean, it's big. I mean, big. One of the biggest stainless steel buckets. You like Galliana Elementary cafeteria had these big old. Maybe my dad jacked it from there. I don't know, but it's a big. Yeah, literally could have just slide it over like a foot, and it's there. So then you get there, and I know you, like you said, your line is you're cheaper than you are
I'm cheaper
lazy.
than I am lazy.
So you take on repairs. You do things like fixing brake pads and blah blah blah. How are you about plumbing? You're big
I can change a garbage disposal or unclog a garbage disposal, but that's pretty gross.
well, yes. I mean plumbing can be, let's put it that way. Plumbing can be. I always thought I would love to be the kind of plumber that when they're building new houses and new apartment complexes and stuff, you get to put in the new stuff before anybody uses it. That'd be kind of fun. That's like an industrial kind of
not nasty.
That's an industrial kind of Lego situation. That's kind of
Lego
fun.
with wrenches.
And you learn how stuff is done, and that'd be awesome. But so I get there, and this is a Friday late afternoon, and I don't know what the plumbing situation is, and I try not to. I have a brother-in-law who is, I mean, man, fixes everything, right? One of these guys that makes you feel bad about your ability to do anything
or lack thereof.
I mean, so in the past 4 years, this same guy, right? And usually off the top of his head, because he knows how to do it, but if not that, like literally YouTubing something. All right. Like in the last 4 years, I has patched the roof, installed a water heater. I mean, had one removed, installed a gas, right? Not a plug-in, a gas. Okay. Repaired another water heater where you're like laying on the ground and changing some part he told me in there that I'm like, I don't even know. Like whatever part you just told me, I got no idea. Fixed the clothes dryer. And when I say fixed the clothes dryer, I mean took it apart, found what was causing it to not run, whatever. Went online, bought a repair kit. Did you know there are clothes dryer repair kits?
Yeah, but there's only about 3 or 4 working parts in a dryer.
Neither did I. Repair, fix that. Install the basketball goal. I mean, one of these, like, you just go, man, whatever I can, whatever favor you need, let me know because he fixed. And I don't want to ask him to have to try it, right? So I'm like, okay, I at least got to take a shot.
Especially while you're there. It's not like you're calling from Houston and saying, hey, bro.
Yeah, I don't want my man card taken away. But I'm also one of these guys that my fear is always that I'm going to make it worse, right? You got a little problem. You start messing with it. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to make it worse.
But so see, that's why you got to figure out. Now I've found stuff like that or talked to people and said, okay, if I try to do this, can I make anything worse?
Yeah. Well, and they always lie to you because, dude, you can always make it worse. You know how you make plumbing worse? You break the piece.
The pipe.
Right. Yeah. You break the pipe. First of all, you ain't got a spare gooseneck laying around. Okay. And even worse, if you break the pipe that goes into the wall. Then, right. Okay. So again, and maybe that's just my nature. I worry about those kind of things. So I'm like, well, I get there. And then what I am pretty good at, all right, I will say, I'll give my credit. I'm good at diagnosing things, right? I'm pretty good at, all right, let me figure out what's going on.
You're going with your diagnosis, man, that thing's leaking.
Well, no, I go a little beyond. I know it's leaking. And that's the thing too. When I opened up underneath the sink, yeah, there was several, oddly, like different containers that, you know how kitchens are, man. You just put stuff back there. So it had been leaking for a while. Okay. Because some of the water in some of these things were, so I'm cleaning that stuff out. I'm trying to figure out. And oh, by the way, there's no light under a sink. So you got to go find another light, get a hurricane light put in there. And all right. So I get all that stuff out there, start drying it. It's like, now my fear is always, I'm always, you shouldn't be that way. Like, it's like the person that wakes up and they got a pain in their foot and they think it's cancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that way for physical things, but like with house stuff, man, my mind always goes to, and I'm like, oh man, what if the sewer line or what if the pipes that run under this house collapsed or there's a major clog in there? Because I've had to have my house here dug under, right? Which is, you think you have a clogged toilet. No, you don't. You got a $7,000 excavation project is what you got. So I'm thinking, so I start running water and watching the sinks and stuff. And it's like, it's sort of draining. Hang on a sec. And it's not dripping. I'm looking at the neck where I think it's, so first I figured out it was to drain. It's not. So I'm like, okay, well, that's sort of good news, right? I mean, like, okay, it's not, maybe I fixed it by maybe I'm a faith healer. You ever do that? Yeah. You ever just figure like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe.
Well, sometimes something could just, whatever. If something was clogged and causing it to drain or to leak, it could unclog.
Correct. So then I'm like, well, okay, all right. So it's not leaking at the at the faucet. That's a good thing. And so let me just turn on other things and let me just check, see if it's maybe the main line, which would be the worst thing. So man, I go around, I got the mudroom sinks on, I got the back bathroom sinks on, I'm running the shower, I'm running water on everything in this house. I'm waiting, let it run for like 15 minutes. Nothing. So I'm just ready to go. There you go. I'm good to go.
I can't fix stuff.
And then my wife, I don't like when she does this, but she was 75% right, but you got to give them the credit where they're right. She says, well, maybe it's the dishwasher. And I'm like, no, it can't be the dishwasher because the dishwasher doesn't have its own special drain. It just drains it drains into the sink drain. Right. But when my point is, it's draining. It's draining. Like I'm running water. Everything is fine. The dishwasher it just drains into the same thing. So I'm just explaining to my wife why. I mean, I get the theory. I understand what you're saying, you know. And if I didn't know how plumbing worked, I probably would think that too. But since I am now the master plumber who has not done a thing besides clean up water and magically say, hey, it works. So obviously what you're saying probably can't be because she actually thought it was a separate drain. So I said, well, let's just run the dishwasher to see. And you know what it was? It was a dishwasher. Hey, guys out there, let me save you all the YouTube on this. If you ever get like water coming up from the gooseneck underneath a sink, what's happening is sometimes there's some kind of clog, partial clog in that sediment or something built up in that thing. And when the dishwasher empties, that water's being pumped. All right. You know, it comes out the tube and it goes around. So there's pressure on that water. So when the water hits the pipe, if it's a partial clog, sometimes it'll build up pressure right there and water will start dripping out of the seams. Okay. And so I ended up taking that thing off, and lo and behold, this is where you want to be like a detective. You want to go back and ask, okay, did anybody remember when they took one of those, you get those long plastic little snake things, like if you get something clogged, they got the little hooks on it and stuff. You kind of stick it down the sink and you pull up and it's always, man, that's that, right. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, made my butt get tight right there.
Well, what I want to ask is, does anybody remember when they maybe did that and pulled it up and, they broke off a piece of that?
Oh, that's what
because guess what happens when a piece of basically a 4 to 5 inch piece of plastic with a bunch of hooks on it is in the neck of a drain?
It tends to catch things.
It catches things. And the next thing you know, you're pulling out what looks like a small animal when you get it out of there. But I was impressed that the sink was draining at all. Right. And, but bruh, I don't want to jinx it because, I mean, who knows? I got it. I got that part going. But, and there's something weird. I've done some stuff, I've done a few things in my life. I mean, not a lot, where that you feel so proud of a stupid repair. Is that a man thing where you just like,
totally,
dude, like, man, I felt like Tom Hanks starting that fire in
Castaway.
In Castaway. Look at me, I am the god of fire. Look what I have created. That's sort of the feeling you get. Like, man, that was technically a kitchen repair. You'd have called a plumber for that.
It was, and paid a lot of money for it.
I think I'm going to go treat myself to $175 dinner. The money I saved on that. But there you go.
That's right. And you probably still came out ahead. Now, you could have also done the repair of, well, the sink's not leaking, but the dishwasher's leaking. You could wash dishes in the sink and solve the problem.
Oh, or I could have been like my mom. God love my mom. God love my Cajun mom who grew up when you grew up. You know what when I was trying to figure out what's going on and whatever, you know what her suggestion was? Hey, Dave, just put a bucket under there.
I can empty.
Just put a bucket, and I'm gonna have one of the boys every now and then just dump the bucket. And I'm like, okay, Mom, if this was a camp or a rental property where we didn't give a crap what happened after next week, I'd leave the owner a note and saying, hey, by the way, I'll put a bucket under the sink because you got a leak.
Yeah, you might want to empty it every now and then.
Because in her mind, it's no big deal. But it's also kind of funny about the old houses, the way they were built. And as I told my mom after, I said, but Mom, there's not many houses that if, say, your kitchen sink would have been out of commission, that you just have to walk like 15 feet over and there's another full double sink.
That's what I was thinking. You talked about the sink in the mud room. I'm thinking, dude, problem solved right there.
You think? You think? And then she was telling me somebody we know, a friend who was living in an apartment right now, and she does her dishes in her bathtub. I'm like, well, I'm hoping not while she's bathing because that would get a little. But hey, I've bathed in Dawn dishwashing liquid before. When you were kids, like, man, bubble bath was like, what's bubble bath?
Right? Yeah, I don't have Mr. Bubble, but I got some.
Could be Palmolive, could be whatever the dishwashing liquid is. You put a couple squirts in that bathtub. Yeah, bro, we were some clean kids.
Right, the bubbles aren't as big, but
we were some clean kids. But there you go, man. So I was looking at some other things just popped into my head. Being down on the bayou and around, and I don't know what the story came up today because I asked you before we came on, was the UNO Lakefront Arena still a thing?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I pulled up some of the concert, and I don't know why I was some. Oh, I know why. Hang on a sec, because before we're gonna run out of time, my buddy Raleigh was sending me stuff all week long on this story about a nutria in. You know what I'm talking about?
Save Neuty.
Saved. Okay, man, he must have sent me 6 different texts on saving Neuty, and I'm looking at it going, and it seemed like that nutria.
I don't know the backstory on it.
Has a
I don't
good
know the
life.
whole. I don't know what they were saving Neuty from.
I didn't
Only
watch.
because we used to have a nutria in the back in the creek in the back, and my daughter would call it Neuty. So that's why
There
it
you
caught
go.
my attention because I saw a shirt that had Neuty on it.
Apparently, this nutria, which is I guess it's in the rodent family, obviously, and so they're not dumb. Okay, they're not dumb. They're smart. What comes out of the canal, whatever it is, it's in Bucktown, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the owners, I'm guessing, have a restaurant or some kind of situation. Or if it's like there's a pool. Anyway, the nutria will come and swim in the pool, and then they feed it stuff, but they don't. And hang on a sec, man. I hate when I shouldn't have done that. I jumped into it without having the full story, but he
But
sort
the
of had
people had a
made.
pool, or there was a pool at the restaurant that the nutria swam in.
Hang on a sec here. I mean, he says, and this is what happens. Here we go. This is Neuty. She came from the canal in Bucktown. She's a free-ranging nutria, like all the others. Her humans own a pool where she swims, feed her lots of green, and own a seafood business where she can eat all the crawfish that fall to the floor. It says also,
Oh,
well, I don't think it's in the restaurant.
maybe
here.
they throw it out. Okay.
Yeah, I think they probably more exactly they process the stuff, but it says she can jump back into the Bucktown Canal whenever she wants. So anyway, dude, it's a nutria, right? And apparently it became kind of famous that hey, this because it gets domesticated, I guess, and come around and people there look, they're
Yeah.
interesting looking animals. Well, when it raised awareness is when apparently Department of Wildlife and Fisheries said, we can't have anyone. They wanted to capture it, and that was the whole thing. It's like y'all got nothing else to do. Y'all got
Yeah.
y'all got and I know y'all not the same department, but y'all carry guns. Like we got some other animals in New Orleans that need a little more containment, and if you want to help out with that, that would be good too. You got a uniform and some guns. How about that? How about we stop worrying about Neuty, the free range nutria, and go take care of some of the free range carjackings
Yeah.
going on not very far away. Not very far away.
Neuty's probably witnessed 2 or 3 at least.
I saw, man, at least heard him. A buddy of mine sent me something that he has a company. I'm not going to get into it. I want to anyway. He has business in New Orleans, and it had a stat in there about how many cops. Oh man, they are so low on.
Oh yeah.
I know it's everywhere. Everywhere has an issue, but oh man, they are for what they're supposed to have. I don't know if it's 75%. It might be 2/3. But anyway, my friend was quoted in an article or something on NPR, National Public Radio, and I texted him. I said, "Dude, even if you tell me that the quote they quoted to you was exactly true, I don't believe it." Right? Even if you tell me that it didn't happen. So anyway, apparently it worked. I think they're gonna come.
So
to
they
some
were
kind
trying
of
to save
compromise
Neuty from wildlife and fisheries.
from wildlife and fishery, capturing it and bringing it to like a zoo or to something. And I don't know what happened. They apparently wildlife and fisheries is they're going to make something up. Is what's going to happen because nobody in the government's ever going to say our bad. That was stupid. Can't believe we've got hours of manpower with all the
tracking
problems
down
in the world.
Neuty.
Yeah, so they're going to figure out something there. So it looks like, hey, man, and as soon as this is going to happen, right? As soon as all this gets settled, Neuty's going to get taken out by a car or that bald eagle I saw at the beginning of the episode is going to decide, hey, good food there. But there we go. Let's see what else we got going on, Juan. Is there anything else
Nah, man,
We're covering America here. Well, I
we're
jotted
done.
down here. You guys got Derek Carr.
Yep, we do.
So go Saints. That's a big
Yeah, it looks like
upgrade.
we're keeping Michael Thomas.
I don't know if that's a plus or minus.
Yeah, I don't know until he gets hurt. I
Mhm.
think he's just a drama queen, and as long as he likes the quarterback, he'll be healthy.
You think he and Zion go to the same doctor? I mean,
Yeah,
seriously,
probably.
like way to go, New Orleans. I mean, you got,
Two highest
it's not,
paid. Yeah.
not like it's your fault, but
Yeah, he probably stepped in a pothole and walking to work.
Zion's knocked down more bowls of gumbo than buckets. I'll tell you that. So anyway, we wish him luck.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
Derek
If
Carr's,
Zion were around Neuty would starve.
man, look, hey, yeah, I think that's a good move. Everybody's Derek Carr is a good move. Good dude.
Yeah. Who else was? Yeah,
He's not Drew Brees, and obviously, but he's got that same vibe. He's got that family, very
same family structure.
same family structure,
4 kids.
very driven, very outspoken. And
got pretty eyes. Looks like he's got permanent mascara on or whatever.
Oh,
on
there you
eyelashes.
go. He played football just down the street from here. He played high school football right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his brother is David Carr, was the first official pick of the Texans.
Okay, of the Texans
back in the day. So they lived actually around Sugarland. They lived the Carr family lived here, and he played at Clements High School, just a few minutes down the road from here. So
I don't watch the Raiders a lot, so I haven't seen him a lot to know.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited based on
he's a big upgrade. And look, apparently he's gonna have Jameis holding the clipboard. So Jameis has all that Sean Payton wisdom.
Knowledge.
That's right. Jameis can tell him, I spent how many years with Sean?
Yeah.
Trying to
2, 3.
Man, whatever. So good luck there. I'm gonna try to hopefully catch a game this year. Catch Derek. We'll have to go get some Clements High School. That's what I will show up with. I'll show up at the Saints game wearing some Clements High School gear. See if we get noticed. Oh, and a haircut. We joked about this before. I went to get a haircut last week. I don't know if you can see here. It's not.
Yeah, I need a haircut.
Yeah, well, there you go. I never see the back of your head. There you go. You got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
There.
Not much.
But, at what point does like a because I've gotten a lot of haircuts in my life, y'all, and a lot of this place. You go to one of these places that it's sort of a rotating. Sometimes you can request the same stylist, but they come and go. Okay, so I'm in there and I know this person has cut my hair before, right? And I've probably been to this place maybe 100 times over the past 10 years, right? No, okay, not that many. 50. Say 50. When a hairstylist has to ask you too many questions about, is this long enough? How do you want this? How do you want it? And I'm like, that's not my job. My job is to sit here in the chair and you can basically look at what I got. And you did this last time.
Right, just shape it up.
And I'm going to bet that my head and my hair is not shaped that much different than the rest of the world. Do what you did last time. Why am I?
It's not like you're going there and saying, you know what? I want to go for this, high and tight fade this time.
That puts the pressure on me. Like, so wait, no. I don't make, should I take off a half inch? I don't know if that's what you think you should do. I don't know. I didn't measure it before I came in here. Just go. So anyway,
well,
so be better. Just
bragger.
Man, ain't no bragging for us.
50 haircuts.
And you shared the motivational story of.
I've told this before. Last time I paid somebody to get a haircut, I went in there with a hat on, and I was the last customer of the day. And they asked if I would mind paying first so they could close the register, and I said sure. And then they came up to me, or when I took my hat off, they came up to me and gave me some money back, and they said they charged me too much.
Yeah, you gotta live honest.
Gotta live honest.
On that note, let's push the button, get on out of here before we get clipped anyway. Guys, if you want to reach us, it's pretty easy. It's Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. And there are other ways to get to us.
That's right. Yeah, you can just find us all over social media. You can find us wherever you're at now. We're there.
Find us where you found it. You did it one time, do it again. Do it again.
Tell your friends where to find us, man.
That's right. Please, they can hear about nature, country music, nutria. Well, that's
dude. It's everything.
Cover it, man. Yeah, every week we tell you. We tell you. It's not a suggestion, not a hint. We don't subtly imply jack around here. The
freaking mandate, dude.
Freaking mandate. Get out there and attempt to have the best week of your life, yo. I hope you just did. I hope
coming off.
I saw a majestic bald eagle.
Dude, being pecked on by another bird, but still.
Yeah, but let's forget about that part. I saw a majestic bald eagle spread out over home.
You solved the plumbing issue.
And I solved the plumbing issue. That's going to be a tough week to get better then, but I'm going to go for it.
Granted, your wife had to tell you what to do, but still.
Well, okay. All right. We're just going to clip that out there too. But there you go. But I'm going to shoot for an even better one this week. We advise you do the same. Start with the best hour. You're welcome. Make it a great day. Make it a great week. We'll get back together next week and figure it all out. What do you say? What do you say? All right, my man. Everybody, you guys have a fantastic one. Love you, bro.
Back at you, dude. I was at a different Popeyes the other day, so I, went through the drive-through, and I asked the girl, I said, "Hey, man, y'all take Apple Pay?" Dude, you think the level of quality of customer service at Popeyes is low? The look of disgust on this girl's face when I asked her, like I was, like she was gonna have to redo. Yeah, but back up. I need you to back up a couple feet. And I don't know if there's like some secret code that she had to push into the reader that, I somehow miraculously could have seen from my car in the drive-through window. But so I had to back up and she get it. Come on. Hand her my phone.
Why'd you have to back up?
So I couldn't see whatever she was doing, I guess, on the device that she used to read my phone.
That's what you were going to be doing.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't really need to use Apple Pay. I just want to steal your code.
Right.
We'll tell some Popeyes story. I went to Popeyes, the typical Popeyes. Man, it fluctuates. This last time was funny, man. A couple of young guys in there. They're kind of cool. And they were like talking to everybody and saying, y'all don't communicate in this place. Y'all need to communicate better. Like the manager all to hear, like, because it was just a train wreck. And these guys were workers. They weren't managers. They were just like young guys going. And they looked like they put down their firearms in the car to come in and go to work. I mean, like, I'm serious, man. They look like, yeah, you ain't trying to jack this Popeyes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you walk up to a thing like, yeah, I could, no. These guys look like they came to bang.